This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the home of the Indianapolis 500 and an IndyCar road course race starting in May of 2014 that will include the entire Mazda Road to Indy. A clear path to the destination, the Indianapolis 500, with scholarships available for young open-wheel drivers in America and across the world. Thanks for joining us. Along with Jeremy Shaw, I'm Kevin Lee. We're going to recap the second part of the season for the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. But Jeremy, before we get to the second half, what happened in the first half?
Well, a lot happened in the first part, but it mainly revolved around Matthew Brabham, the third-generation driver. He really took the season by storm. Diego Ferreira from Venezuela won the first round, but after that, Matthew Brabham has just been unstoppable. He won last year's USF 2000 Championship, and with it, a $350,000 scholarship from the Mazda Road to Indy. He took it to Andretti Autosport, and boy, he's been tough to beat.
Well, we start our second half recap with the second of 3 trips north of the border this season. The first of 2 races at the ultra-fast Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, located just over an hour east of Toronto, launched the second half of the 2013 Pro Mazda Championship, presented by Cooper Tires in fine style, and welcomed a pair of first-time winners. Spencer Pigot with Team Pelfrey finally broke through to score his first ever Pro Mazda victory, and it was a hard-fought win and a tremendous drive by the Orlando, Florida driver, who notched 8 wins in the USF 2000 series last season. 19-year-old Pigot qualified second, but fought his way past pole sitter Shelby Blackstock at turn 8 on lap 2 and managed to edge out a slight margin over the 2 battling Andretti Autosport entries of Blackstock and runaway series points leader Matthew Brabham. On lap 4, however, Pigot's advantage was erased when Colombian Juan Pedrejita crashed his JDC Motorsports entry heavily into the tires at turn 3, which caused a lengthy full-course caution and triggered a timed race. Pedrejita, thankfully, was not seriously injured in the accident. With 5 minutes remaining, the race restarted, with Pigot continuing to lead the way. But a slight mistake by Blackstock on lap 16 enabled Brabham to slip past into second place and close on Pigot. Uncharacteristically, however, Brabham too overstepped the limit at turn 3, running wide and allowing Blackstock to regain second position. The final laps were a nail-biter, with all 3 drivers jockeying for position, frequently running side by side. Pigot held on for the victory by a scant 1/10 of a second ahead of Blackstock, with Brabham just 0.08 of a second behind in third. Scott Anderson finished 4th for Juncos Racing, while Brazilian Nicolas Costa of Team Pelfrey found a way past Diego Ferreira in the closing stages for 5th, earning the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award in the process for a gain of 4 positions. So after Matthew Brabham's run of dominance, a new name atop the scoring chart. Brabham had won 7 consecutive races in 7 of 8, but Spencer Pigot gets to victory lane in this first race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Shelby Blackstock another podium. Brabham finishes 3rd. Anderson and Costa rounding out the top 5, but the day belonged to Spencer Pigot.
It was a big team effort this weekend. We were struggling a little in practice, barely cracking into the top 5, and made quite a lot of changes overnight. Had a really good session this morning. Couldn't quite beat Shelby to the pole, but started on the front row, and it's great for me, it's great for the team. After the restart, I was able to get a little bit of a jump, but I couldn't quite break the draft, and then made a little mistake on the last lap, and Shelby was right. We were side by side. In fact, I think he was a little bit ahead of me on the back straightaway, and was able to just hold the inside through turn 8. And yeah, it was great racing. Me and Shelby were joking around that it's such a turnaround from last weekend for both of us. So just to be out fighting for the win is great. Yeah, hopefully we can do it again tomorrow.
And in the championship standings, it's still Matthew Brabham in charge, Diego Ferreira in a pretty good position in 2nd in the championship, and then it's very tight for 3rd and 4th. Shelby Blackstock and Spencer Pigot, and Scott Anderson is 5th, but he is still being challenged by Kyle Kaiser and Zach Meyer. In the second race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, series rookie Shelby Blackstock guided his Andretti Autosport Team Starstruck entry to a well-deserved maiden victory in round 10 of the Pro Mazda Championship. Blackstock started 2nd behind race 1 winner Spencer Pigot, and after shadowing the Team Pelfrey driver for the first 11 laps, took advantage of a slight slip by Pigot to take the lead in turn 8, and he never looked back. Juncos Racing's Scott Anderson had started 6th, but advanced 2 positions on lap 6 when Team Pelfrey's Nicholas Costa and championship leader Matthew Brabham collided in turn 8 while battling for 3rd. The shunt ultimately eliminated both, and Costa was penalized an additional finishing position for avoidable contact. On the restart, pole sitter Spencer Piggott again took off in the lead, chased by Blackstock, while Anderson got past teammate Diego Ferreira for 3rd. Piggott's subsequent misstep with 9 laps remaining allowed Blackstock to power through, and Piggott then lost another couple of spots to Anderson and Ferreira, who freight train passed. The quartermaster hard charger was awarded to Anderson, who gained 4 positions over the course of the race. It was Blackstock's 6th trip to the podium, only this time as the race winner, and the first for Anderson with a fine 2nd-place drive. Ferreira was 3rd, while Piggott had to settle for 4th. JDC Motorsports' Zach Meyer from nearby Toronto rounded out the top 5. And Shelby spoke of his mindset while taking the lead and his first Pro Mazda win.
When I saw Spencer get the marbles, I took the position, and then once I went to the last corner, I saw Diego and Scott with him 3 wide, so I was like, okay, head down and dig. So I just did that, tried to make little mistakes, and just kind of made a gap. It's huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and definitely Matt has had his fair share of wins this season, and it's nice for me to finally break mine in. And unfortunately, Matt had a really rough race. I'm not really sure what happened, but in the end, I'm very, very happy that we're able to finally get the Starstruck team a win, and it's a fantastic day.
And to the championship now, Matthew Brabham is still in charge, but he scored just 2 points in round 2 at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, so Diego Ferreira was able to cut into that lead a little bit. Shelby Blackstock 3rd in the championship, and then Spencer Piggott and Scott Anderson rounding out the top 5. Up next, another doubleheader. We take you to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Next, stay with us. This is the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires 2013 season recap. I'm Kevin Lee. The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio is a driver favorite. Fast, challenging, technical, and with its park-like atmosphere, a fan favorite as well, with large crowds on hand for the IZOD IndyCar Series race weekend in early August and rounds 11 and 12 of the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. In Race 1, Matthew Brabham bounced back from a disappointing last round at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park by scoring a convincing victory in the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Starting from the pole for the 5th time this season, Brabham led throughout the 20-lap contest to claim his 8th win, equaling the single-season wins record of last year's champion, Jack Hawksworth. There was plenty of action behind the series point leader. Shelby Blackstock maintained his strong form by finishing 2nd to make it a 1-2 for Andretti Autosport, despite intense pressure from Juncos Racing's Diego Ferreira and Team Pelfrey's Spencer Piggott in the closing stages. Blackstock crossed the line a mere 0.2 of a second ahead of Ferreira. Colombian Juan Pedrojita of JDC Motorsports advanced 2 spots from his 7th place starting position to finish 5th after a race-long battle with Californian teenager Kyle Kaiser of World Speed Motorsports. Bobby Eberle claimed expert class honors in his first ever Pro Mazda start for World Speed Motorsports, narrowly edging M1 Racing's Walt Bolin. And the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award went to Spencer Pigot, who gained 7 spots after starting 11th. But for the 8th time, it was Matthew Brabham in victory lane. Shelby Blackstock finishes 2nd, and Diego Ferreira also on the podium. Spencer Pigot and Juan Pedrojita rounding out the top 5. Brabham is getting quite used to victory lane interviews.
It was quite a hot race out there, and you know, with all the restarts, I kept bunching back up behind me, so I had to make sure I got good restarts and kept ahead of the pack, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it was a great race for us. Had a big crash last weekend, so well at Mosport, not last weekend, sorry. But yeah, the guys have been working so hard. They put the car all back together perfectly, no issues all through practice, and the car's been really, really fast for me and Shelby, my teammate. So get a 1-2 is just absolutely fantastic for the team, and I'm just so pleased for everybody in the team. I mean, it's just been a fantastic year, so I'm just thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
And as we update the points, Matthew Brabham takes another step towards the championship, increasing his lead. Diego Ferreira, though, is now going to get some heat for the 2nd place position in the championship. Shelby Blackstock is closing. Spencer Pigot is also still in the chase in 4th in the championship. In race 2 of the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, it looked as though Diego Ferreira was poised to collect his 2nd win of the season after taking the lead from pole sitter Matthew Brabham with an opportunistic maneuver on the first lap. Ferreira drove a flawless race while Brabham had his hands full in the opening stages with pressure from behind. Both appeared to be headed toward the finish in that order until lap 13 of 16 when they encountered an oil spill in turn 4 from contact between Kyle Connery of M1 Racing and Juan Pedrojita. Under the resulting caution, Brabham and Ferreira fought to maintain control in the oil, with Ferreira sliding off the track through a gravel trap and narrowly missing the stranded car of Jay Horak, also of M1 Racing, and the attending marshal did well to take cover. Brabham almost spun out but managed to regain control and remain on the circuit and was into the lead before Ferreira rejoined. The cleanup could not be completed prior to expiration of the race time limit, so Brabham led the field to the checkered flag behind the pace car. Ferreira protested that Brabham had passed under yellow, which he had, but the pass stood, with the official stating that since Brabham had remained on track, the change of position was legitimate. Further back, Spencer Pigot made a spectacular start to jump from 5th to 3rd for Team Pelfrey, placing Brabham under intense pressure in the opening stages before gradually slipping back into the clutches of teammate Nicholas Costa, who had made a poor start from 4th but quickly recovered some ground by passing Shelby Blackstock into turn 4. By lap 11, Pigot, Costa, and Blackstock were running in nose-to-tail formation in a heated battle for 3rd. Pigot, who was struggling with his car's handling, then lost 2 places in quick succession when Costa fought his way through in turn 5 to claim the final spot on the podium, and Blackstock took advantage of Pigot being forced offline to sneak past in turn 6. Walt Bolin of M1 Racing took expert class honors. For gaining 6 positions from 12th to 6th, Scott Anderson of Yukos Racing was awarded the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award. To the results now, and so despite the controversial ruling, the win was Brabham's record-breaking 9th of the season. Diego Ferreira finishes as the runner-up, Nicholas Costa on the podium, Shelby Blackstock and Spencer Pigot rounding out the top 5. In victory lane, Brabham was a bit hesitant to accept the accolades.
I'd take a win if I can, but I think, definitely that was Diego's race. He was led from start to finish, and his car was really quick, and I was really struggling to stay with him there. I was battling with Spencer at the start of the race, and we were holding each other back a little bit. My car came on really, really good in the middle part of the race, and I caught Diego, and we had a little bit of a fight going on there, but then, that weird incident with all the oil over the track, and, it was yellow flag from then on to the finish, and unfortunately, Diego just hit oil and slid off. I think if it wasn't for the oil, he probably would have won that race. So, I can't, go out there and say, yes, that was my race, whatever. That was Diego's race, and I feel so bad for him. I'm kind of happy and disappointed. It's just one of those things. So it was good for my championship. So I love to win, but I don't like to win like that. So, I'll take it. But yeah, it's not one of those sweet ones. That's definitely for sure. But yeah, it's good to beat the record, and we still got quite a few races left in the season, so it should be fun.
So in the championship update, Brabham takes another step toward the title. Diego Ferreira makes some grounds towards wrapping up second in the championship, but Shelby Blackstock is definitely still in the mix to get up to second in points. Piggott and Anderson still maintaining the 4th and 5th positions. Coming up next, we'll bring you live lap-by-lap coverage from round number 13. Once again, north of the border, this time from Trois-Rivières. This is the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires, and we're ready for round number 13 of 16 for the 2013 schedule, the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières in Quebec, Canada. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Kevin Lee, joined again by Jeremy Shaw and also Connor Daly, the 2010 Star Mazda champion, who also has won in Firestone Indy Lights and GP3 and is now a veteran of the Indianapolis 500. We are lining up for a standing start. Jeremy, Matthew Brabham won his 7th pole in this race.
He did indeed. He's been the man to beat all season long. And what a great history there is here at Trois-Rivières. It's a wonderful event to be all the top drivers. Back in the 70s, the Formula One drivers used to race here. It's a great racetrack and something the drivers always enjoy.
That's Diego Ferreira in the red 57. He is going to start second. Scott Anderson and Juan Pedrejita in row number 2. Shelby Blackstock and Lloyd Reed in row number 3. That's the best start of the season for Lloyd Reed. The second standing start of the season. We are ready for the lights to go out. Round number 13 is underway, and Brabham with the quick start. And there we see Scott Anderson jumping to second, Pedrejita in third, Ferreira in fourth, and he is going to make a look inside turn number 2, and he's going to get back to that third position. And Shelby Blackstock also making a look.
That was an awful start from Diego Ferreira from the outside of the front row. Connor Daly, you know what it's like to do standing starts in these cars. That was a poor getaway.
Yeah, it was, and it's very slick on the inside of turn 1 there. I'm kind of surprised that no one was made a mistake there, so it's good to see everyone get around.
And we're going to see, oh, somebody went wide there. Somebody is going to miss that corner.
Yeah, the yellow flags are waving down there, but all sorts of battling down here in the middle of the pack. There's car number 81, Spencer Piggott. Oh, it's Kyle Kaiser that went straight on there at turn 6.
So Piggott is, as we see, Kaiser, and that's going to take a little while. That is not just your normal runoff, so he's going to need some help, and we'll see if we can stay green here. Working lap number 1, Matthew Brabham with the big advantage. There's Scott Anderson in the green and white 44 in second. Ferreira is in third. Juan Pedrejita in fourth, and Shelby Blackstock back there in the red and black car in fifth. That's Spencer Piggott on sixth. And back there in the 82 car, we see making his debut, that's Stefan Rudzinski, at least his debut this season in Pro Mazda. He's raced here before, many races last year. He's been doing the USF 2000 campaign this year.
Yeah, that's been his primary focus this season. We got the opportunity here to join Team Pelfrey for a one-off drive in Pro Mazda. There was Spencer Piggott in the other Team Pelfrey car, the yellow car, looking down to the inside, trying to make a move on Shelby Blackstock. And for Spencer Piggott, boy, this is frustrating. He's had problems all the way through practice and qualifying, so he's trying to make his way towards the front.
Spencer is going to want to get around him as soon soon as possible. It's such a difficult place to pass this track. There's really only one opportunity down the long back straight, and you can tell he's very quick right now, and it's see him getting sideways there. It's such a rough track also, so I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer doesn't try something very soon here.
That's the battle for fifth. Blackstock in fifth, Piggott in sixth. We see Lloyd Reed behind him in the seventh position. Connor, you have raced at this course. It's a good temporary street course, correct?
I love it. It's one of my favorite circuits, and it's such a great atmosphere, great event overall, and it's always a fun race for the drivers just because of how many people show up. So it's going to be interesting, to see Spencer here try and work his way around Shelby.
And unusually for a street circuit, there is some elevation change here as well, Connor.
Yeah, elevation, and the walls are very close as usual on a street circuit, but you've also got this next corner where there's a lot of runoff. So there's a big mix of corners, and I really enjoy it personally as a driver.
Matthew Brabham is in charge, as has been the case most of the time this season. We're keeping an eye on the battle for fifth. Shelby Blackstock in fifth, Spencer Piggott is in sixth, Lloyd Reed seventh, Zach Meyer is eighth, Stefan Rudzinski is running in the ninth position, and this is a battle brewing for second position. We saw Brabham, he's in charge in front. The green and white car is Scott Anderson. He is running in the second position. And then there in the third position, we see Ferreira. That's turn 3.
Ferreira is just going to try and get this run down the back straight on his teammate. It's going to be a challenge, but he could be able to pull it off.
Ferreira's got a run. He's going to look to the inside, and he's going to get him this time. Ferreira for position into second on Anderson.
It's good to see the teammates respect each other there, and it was a good move.
Yeah, that was a good move there. Incisive pass down to the inside there. And Diego Ferreira, he started off the season oh so strong. He won the very first race of the season at Circuit of the Americas, and now trying to get himself up into second place.
This is a look at it again, turn number 6.
Scott started to turn in, but saw Diego there, and it was good to kind of see a respectful move like that made.
Good to see Scott Anderson. He's making progress this season. He started off the season a little bit slow. He won some races last year in USF 2000. That was his rookie year in USF 2000. Already made the move up into Pro Mazda. I actually wonder whether that was a little bit too soon for him to do. But he's come on strong this season. Had a second place finish on the streets of Toronto a few weeks ago. So he knows how to get it done in this series, and he's moving forward all the time.
In the early going, Matthew Brabham is the leader. Back at Trois-Rivières in Quebec, Canada, the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires with Connor Daly and Jeremy Shaw. I'm Kevin Lee. Matthew Brabham in the early going leads on Diego Ferreira, Scott Anderson, Juan Pedrohita, and Shelby Blackstock is running in the 5th position, and this is the battle we're looking at. There's Blackstock in the red and black car and Spencer Pigot in the yellow car in 6th. They've been working on each other all race.
Yeah, slight mistake there by Shelby Blackstock coming onto that back straightaway, Connor.
Yeah, you could see how wide Shelby was and the different line Spencer was, and you could just, Spencer just can't quite get the toe that he needs to get around him. And I'm surprised Spencer just doesn't go for it on the brakes, considering how much runoff there is on the exit.
They're also battling in the championship. Blackstock 3rd in the championship, still has a chance to get to 2nd, and Pigot is 4th in the championship. Both have a win this season. Pigot won the first race at Mosport, and Blackstock won the 2nd race at Mosports. Let's talk about the how even the cars are here, and what are we talking about the differential from the different campaigns?
Yeah, that's right. I think there's a new engine supply this year. Speed Source down in Florida supplying all the engines to the Pro Mazda series this season. The Mazda rotary engine, formerly used in the RX-8, they're super reliable. They are very, very evenly matched. As we can see here, there's nothing to choose between these two, but it does look to be like Shelby Blackstock in that Star Trek Entertainment car, just struggling a little bit with the handling balance on that car, but Spencer Pigot not able to make that pass.
Yeah, and Spencer hasn't been able to do it, but he's also not taken a big chance, which is also good. They're both in it for the championship right now, and they're both being smart. And you can tell, with Spencer's experience, he is doing the right thing. He's kind of sizing up Shelby here, and hopefully he can make a move eventually.
Both these two drivers came up from USF 2000 last year. Spencer Pigot actually won more races than anybody else. He won 8 races out of the 14 last year. Is he going to run here, going down towards turn 1?
On the outside, and a drag race at the line. They go side by side, racing into turn number 1. The right-hander, and Pigot has the desired line, and he's going to get the position. Spencer Pigot into 5th.
Yeah, the young man's a racer. I mean, he did a super job last year at USF 2000. Was really unlucky not to win the championship. Won 8 of the 14 races. Still had to make do with 2nd in the championship. That, of course, was won by Matthew Brabham. But he's had some problems this year. Team Pelfrey, it's a different organisation to what it's been for the last few years. They won the championship last year, but a different structure in place now, and it's taken some time for that team really to gel. Not the case, though, with Andretti Autosport and Matthew Brabham. And
Brabham already with 9 wins in 12 races, with 2 more third-place finishes. He's already tied the record of 9 wins set by Jack Hawksworth last year, who broke Connor's record from 2010. He can clinch the title with a good weekend.
How frustrating to see that win tally record broken last year, Connor.
You know what? It's fine. I mean, I'm not really tied to records. These guys, records are made to be broken, as they say.
They are indeed. And Matthew Brabham, I mean, boy, he is a sensation. He was born in Florida, brought up in Australia. His family is from Australia originally, but he moved back over here last year, came into USF 2000, won the championship, won the Road to Indy Scholarship Prize from Mazda to move up into Pro Mazda this season. And boy, he is dominating the championship.
His grandfather, obviously, we know, is what we see Zach Meyer turned around there. The 21-year-old from Toronto with JDC Motorsports, 7th in the championship. He had been running inside the top 10. He started in the 9th position. He is going to get it back underway, and we are going to stay green. Brabham, obviously the grandson of 3-time world champ Sir Jack Brabham, and his dad, who's a great sports car racer, raced in the Indianapolis 500 as well. His dad, Jeff, raced here at Trois-Rivières in the Can-Am series back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, that's true. So the family has a huge history in motor racing all the way around the globe. And Matthew is very much continuing that legacy. And it's great to see that AFS is on the side of this car as well now. That's a new sponsorship here fairly recently to come on board with Andretti Autosport and to help guide Matthew Brabham on towards the top levels of the sport.
That's Gary Peterson's company. He's been involved in Indy Lights and also has had IndyCar entries, has been associated with Michael Andretti for several years. You saw Brabham get around Bobby Eberle, a lapped car here.
Yeah, Bobby Eberle is one of the expert drivers. He has a little bit more experience in life and in racing, so he's kind of battling for his own honours there among the expert category, and doing a nice job in only his third start in Pro Mazda.
You saw Ferreira there. He is again in the 57 car, just a 19-year-old from Venezuela, and it's a familiar paint scheme for IndyCar fans. This is an effort from IndyCar driver E.J. Viso, Team Viso from Venezuela.
Yeah, giving a little bit back to the sport. That's good to see. And they're now in third place. There's Juan Pedro Hita, so he also has found a way past Scott Anderson in car number 4, the second of the Juncos Racing cars, and then a gap back to the laps car of Kyle Kaiser, and then is Spencer Pigot, followed now by Shelby Blackstock.
Anderson going by there. He's now running in the 4th position.
Just about halfway through this race. It's a 40-minute race. We're expecting the race to be about 40 laps as well. And there is Spencer Pigot now up into 5th place. But he's got quite a deficit he has to make up before he catches up to Scott Anderson in 4th.
We saw Kaiser there, who had the early off on the first lap and is now simply working on his racecraft and lap times, but his opportunity for a good finish has gone away.
Yeah, he's a couple of laps down now, I think, in 11th place, but another youngster. I mean, again, he's only 16 years of age at the start of the season. He's 17 now, but he's inexperienced. He's been racing these cars as Kyle Kaiser in that Intervision entry for World Speed Motorsports, racing these cars on the West Coast and now stepping up into the National Championship. And you know, it's a steep learning curve for him.
So Spencer Pigot running in 5th, Blackstock in 6th, and they're going to be trying to navigate their way around the lap car of Kyle Kaiser coming up fairly shortly.
I think that was Zach Meyer in the escape road again there in turn 6, Connor.
Yeah, it also, you know, we could tell earlier that Spencer was just able to take advantage of a small mistake that Shelby made, but you know, I kind of expected Spencer to drop Shelby, but Shelby's kind of stayed there. So Shelby's got the pace to obviously stick with Spencer, and Shelby might also be looking to take advantage of a small mistake if Spencer would make one. So, you know, I think those guys are running fairly evenly at the moment, and you know, maybe they can kind of push each other to catch the guys in front.
Yeah, last time around, Spencer, that was his fastest lap of the race, a 1:02.7, and Matthew Brabham, he is turning some quick laps as well. He just turned his best lap of the race, a 1:01.889.
There's Pigot making his way around Kaiser, a couple of laps down, and now Blackstock will try to do this as quickly as he can, so he doesn't lose ground to Pigot in that battle for 5th position there.
It's always frustrating when you see the guy in front of you get around the lap car. You want to get by him also as soon as possible so you don't lose as much ground on the guy in front.
And that's the challenge of street course racing. You've got to wait for the opportunity. There's opportunities to pass, and there are opportunities where you cannot get it done. Well, Matthew Brabham has been getting it done all season long, looking for win number 10 at Trois Rivières. About 7 minutes remain in this 40-minute race. The Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires, the Grand Prix of Trois Rivières in Quebec, Canada, with Jeremy Shaw and Connor Daly. I'm Kevin Lee. It's been the Matthew Brabham Show once again. He started on pole and has led every lap so far. Diego Ferreira is in 2nd position. Juan Pedro Hita in 3rd, followed by Scott Anderson, Spencer Pigot, and Shelby Blackstock running in the 6th position. There's Pigot right now, who has created a little bit of a gap in that 5th spot. It's a challenging track, and it's a physical track, is it not, Connor?
Exactly, and you know, he was able to drop Shelby, and it, you know, at this point in the race, the guys are struggling with the heat here, because I remember every year that I've been here, it's been extremely hot, and you know, at this point in the race, it's becoming quite a physical challenge, and you're really feeling this place also gives you a lot of blisters on the hands as well, so it's, you know, towards the end of the race, and these guys are really struggling to keep it on track.
It's a physical challenge. It's also a mental challenge because you've got these concrete walls or barriers there right at the edge of the racetrack. You cannot afford to make a mistake. And for these guys, they're youngsters, they're relatively early in their careers still. Colin, 40 minutes, that's quite a long time. You have to keep that. You cannot afford any lapses of concentration.
It is a long time. I mean, it is a long race, and you're just seeing right there, just a little bit of a lockup, and that corner especially is there's not a lot of runoff there. So it's very important to be mistake-free.
There's Pedro running in third, Anderson in the fourth position, up ahead of them in the red and white car. That's Julia Bellario. She is a lapped car, getting an opportunity. Her second weekend in Pro Mazda, she debuted at Mid-Ohio, and that included a 9th place finish, driving for Juncos Racing. This is an interesting facility with a lot of history. They've been racing on the streets there of Trois-Rivières since 1967. This event, the headliner, is the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. ALMS, Grand Am is raced there. Indy Lights, back in the 90s, Elio Castroneves and Tony Kanaan won on this course. Tristan Vautier ran and won there last year. Indy Lights raced there last year, but not this season. And in Atlantics, a great roster of winners. Simone Di Silvestro, A.J. Allmendinger, Buddy Rice, Alex Tagliani, Patrick Carpentier, Michael Andretti, and our colleague Brian Till also won there in 1990 in Indy Lights. Oh, I'm sorry, in Atlantics.
Yeah, it's a fantastic racetrack, this one. It really is, and it always provides tremendous entertainment. We've seen this battle going on here amongst these two, Pedro and Anderson, who seems to me to be getting closer and closer, actually setting faster and faster laps as well, Colin.
Yeah, exactly. That Juncos Racing car is quick. I've driven it myself.
Yeah, it looks familiar. That's
exactly.
The same paint scheme you had.
The green, white, and orange. I love driving for Ricardo. That's a great team. They give their drivers a great opportunity. So I'm glad to see Scott pushing Pedro hard here.
Pedro is 21 years old. He lives in Indianapolis now. He's from Bogota, Colombia. He's 9th in the championship. His best finish this season, 2nd in Milwaukee. Also a podium in the 2nd race at Toronto, but his issue has been finishing races.
Yeah, he's been fast, but he's had a lot of problems as well. But he's always kept a great attitude about him as one Pedro. Even when things are going badly or something goes wrong, so kind of out of his control or not, he always has a good, positive, upbeat attitude, and that is so important as you're working your way up the ladder, Connor.
Very important for sure, and you can see them. He's got the pressure on him, and he's dealing with it all right now, and especially around here, where it's tough to keep guys behind you.
Pedro is one of 3 that raced in Pro Mazda here last year, but the only one that finished 9th and 11th. Both Diego Ferreira and Zach Meyer had a pair of DNFs last season, so he's using that experience to his advantage. A good look at Scott Anderson, 5th in the championship coming in. He's looking for his first win, finished 2nd in the 2nd race at Mosport, 4th at Austin, Texas, and also the 1st race in Mosports.
This is the battle at the moment. It is 4th, 3rd, and 4th places. Every now and again we catch a glimpse of Diego Ferreira in the other Juncos Racing car, the orange and red car and white car, but this is the battle right now. 3rd and 4th place. Juan Pedro has it, and they're coming up now to lap the Auto Ingenuity car of Jay Horak, who's running at the tail of the field in 13th place. He's a couple of laps down on the race leaders, does a good job there of keeping out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's good of him, and you can tell that the tires might be going away a little bit themselves. I've seen both the cars lock up the front tires going into a couple of different of the corners. So these guys are definitely pushing hard, and you can tell that it's coming to the end of the race with the tire wear.
It's a new tire this season. Cooper Tires on board with Pro Mazda this year for the first time. It's taken a bit of a learning curve for some of the teams, but they are very durable. Here we are, right towards the end of a 40-minute race, and they're still pushing hard and not having any problems whatsoever.
Absolutely, which is great to see. And a new tire coming in is always difficult, and it's great to see Cooper making a fantastic effort in this championship.
Pedro has about a 3 or 4 car length advantage on Anderson. That is for 3rd position. Up front, it's Matthew Brabham in charge. Diego Ferreira is running in the 2nd position. Brabham has 11 podiums, and he can tie the record set by Connor Daly and Jack Hawksworth of 12 podiums if he stays there at this point. And looks like we are going to be seeing the white flag soon. Just a couple of minutes, less than that, remaining in this event. There's Pedro in 3rd, trying to hold off Anderson. they have gapped. And we see back in the pack there, Spencer Pigot running in 5th position. He's got a lap car in front of him. And here's Matthew Brabham, and we are seeing the white flag. One more lap to go. Just about a mile and a half remaining on this 11-turn course.
Once again, an imperious drive by Matthew Brabham. He took the pole position, took control of the race early on, and he has not relinquished that grasp at all.
The 19-year-old from Boca Raton, Florida, who has grown up in Australia but is an American, is on the way to a 10th win this season. He can wrap up the championship not with this race, but another good result in the second race of this doubleheader weekend. He comes in with a 65-point advantage. After this one, in race number 2, 2 remain, but it's not for another couple of months in Houston.
Yeah, that's true. And Diego Ferreira, he's doing what he has to do at the moment. He's in 2nd place right now, and that does keep him at least in mathematical contention.
Mistake-free and dominant from Matthew there, and it's good to see the AFS entry, complete a pretty much perfect race.
Final turn around number 11, back to the main straightaway, and young Matthew Brabham has won for the 10th time in the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. He takes the checkers at the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières. Brabham gets to victory lane again, extending his record-setting season, and Diego Ferreira is going to finish in the 2nd position. Juan Pedrahita is 3rd, Scott Anderson 4th, and Spencer Pigot comes home 5th. Let's hear again from the winner and likely soon-to-be champion.
The team did a fantastic job all weekend. The car's been absolutely flawless. Qualifying practice, we've just been, up the front all weekend. It's been absolutely I just can't describe how good it is for us. The team, I'm very happy for the team, so I can't thank all the guys over here enough. It's just been a great year all year, and yep, Mazda and AFS Racing for just giving me the opportunity to be here. It was a pretty consistent race for us. The tires didn't fall off too much. I think we can definitely go with a more qualifying setup for next race. So we'll see.
So Matthew Brabham has not clinched the championship, but he is on the doorstep of doing so. Good points day 2 for Diego Ferreira, with a runner-up. Shelby Blackstock solidifies his situation in 3rd a bit. Spencer Pigot still 4th, and Scott Anderson 5th in the championship. Coming up next, we'll recap race number 2 in Quebec with Pro Mazda. Thanks for staying with us for the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires 2013 season recap. I'm Kevin Lee. Another fantastic crowd was on hand for race 2 at Trois-Rivières to witness what would be a history-making day. In another perfect standing start from pole position, Matthew Brabham launched to the lead, remained there unchallenged, and took the checkered flag 5.5 seconds ahead of Diego Ferreira, who posted another flawless drive to 2nd for his 11th podium finish of the season. JDC Motorsports' Juan Pedrahita started 3rd, lost a position to Spencer Pigot off the grid, and after hounding Pigot the majority of the race, Pedrahita was finally able to return the favor on lap 26 to earn his 2nd podium of the weekend and 4th of the season. Pigot's mirrors were then filled with a hard-charging Scott Anderson, who was able to get by on the final lap, relegating Pigot to 5th. The only caution of the race came on lap 1 with a 4-car incident at turn 6 that eliminated Shelby Blackstock, Kyle Kaiser, and Stefan Rudzinski. The Quartermaster Hard Charger Award went to Argentine Julia Bellario of Yukos Racing for a gain of 4 positions. In the expert class, Bobby Eberly of World Speed Motorsports claimed his second win of the weekend after a lively battle with Jay Horak of M1 Racing. To the full field results now, and it's a record-breaking or record-extending 11th win for Matthew Brabham from Andretti Autosport, and another runner-up for Diego Ferreira, a podium for Juan Pedrejita, Scott Anderson, and Spencer Pigot, rounding out the top 5. Brabham on yet another win in 2013.
I'm just so happy for the team. I mean, they've been working hard all year. It's just been a perfect year. I mean, like coming into the year, I could not have seen a year like this. I mean, I'm just absolutely speechless. I can't thank everybody that supported me like throughout the whole year. Fred and Nancy and everybody in my team. It's just been working hard. Scott Lynch. I mean, the Andretti guys have been absolutely awesome, and I have to thank Mazda so much. I mean, they've given me this wonderful year so far, and I guess they're going to give me another wonderful year. I'm looking forward to working with them again. I mean, they've just been absolutely awesome. This is the best series by far. I mean, I've had so much fun, and yeah, I just can't thank Mazda enough.
And for Brabham, his commanding performance in the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières clinched the Pro Mazda Championship title and put a lock on the Team Championship title as well for Andretti Autosport, its first in the series. Brabham, a third-generation racer, also sent record books flying. The 19-year-old now holds the record for most race wins, most consecutive wins, and most podiums in a season. He is also the first driver to advance to the Indy Lights Series after winning USF 2000 and Pro Mazda titles in successive years. Up next, we'll go to Houston, along with the IZOD IndyCar Series for their first appearance there since 2007, and the final 2 rounds of the 2013 Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. Welcome back to our season recap of the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. I'm Kevin Lee. Despite clinching the Pro Mazda Drivers' Championship nearly 2 months prior at Trois-Rivières, Matthew Brabham quickly got back to work at Houston on the Reliant Park Street Circuit at the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Houston. Brabham was solid out of the gate on the 1.634-mile, 10-turn temporary street circuit, starting on pole and claiming another victory to break his own records of most wins with 12 and podiums, 14 in a single season. And he added one more record to his sensational season, besting 2012 champ Jack Hawksworth for most fastest race laps with 12. Spencer Pigot of Team Pelfrey, who qualified third, was able to pass Brabham's teammate and front row starter Shelby Blackstock on lap 2 to finish second and claim his 5th podium of the season. Nicholas Costa made a return appearance with Team Pelfrey after a partial season of 6 races, which included 2 third-place drives. Costa, who last competed at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in August, had no problem dusting off the cobwebs. After qualifying 6th, he quickly made his way up to 5th before a slight mishap at turn 2 sent him back to 7th. But he rebounded, making his way through the field to a 3rd-place drive. Blackstock was relegated to 4th, with Diego Ferreira of Yukos Racing in 5th. And with that, Ferreira solidified his runner-up finish in the championship. Jay Horak of M1 Racing picked up his first expert class win today to take the championship lead heading into tomorrow's finale. And the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award, which went to Costa for a gain of 3 positions. And here are the full results for round 15. Matthew Brabham with win number 12 by 3.5 seconds on Spencer Pigot. Nicholas Costa on the podium. Shelby Blackstock and Diego Ferreira rounding out the top 5. Scott Anderson came home in 6th.
Another great race. The guys are doing such a great job at the team, you know, all year. And yeah, I mean, no pressure this weekend. We've already got the championship wrapped up, so I'm just out there having fun and, yeah, really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun out here.
So Brabham has already clinched the championship, pads his lead even more. Diego Ferreira is locked into 2nd, but look at the battle there for 3rd. Shelby Blackstock with just a 2-point advantage on Spencer Pigot going into the season finale. And Scott Anderson comfortably in 5th position. In race 2 of the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Houston, Matthew Brabham's sensational debut season in the Pro Mazda Series came to a close with yet another dominant performance. Brabham made it a clean sweep on the streets of Houston to set new milestones in the series, ending with records for most wins, 13, most podiums, 15, and most fastest laps in a single season with 13. Brabham started on pole and drove off into the distance, and at one time amassed a gap of over 6 seconds. Nicholas Costa, who started 4th, took advantage of a late restart and an incident between Spencer Pigot and Juan Pedrahita to move up 2 spots to finish 2nd. Pedrahita of JDC Motorsports rounded out the podium, his 5th of the year after starting 5th. And despite a lap 1 spin contact with JDC Motorsports' Zach Meyer, Andretti Autosports' Shelby Blackstock recovered to finish 6th and secure 3rd in the final standings. Jay Horak of M1 Racing picked up his 2nd win to take the Expert Class Championship title with the Auto Ingenuity car. And the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award was earned by Michelle Bumgarner in her debut for World Speed Motorsports for a gain of 4 positions. So the final results for the season finale, it's win number 13 for Matthew Brabham. Take note of Spencer Pigot there in 5th. He ran up at the front all race, running 2nd until that last restart.
What a fantastic year. I'm just so happy for the guys. They've worked hard all year, and oh my God, it's just one of those years that just been incredible. I'm just gonna kind of enjoying it while it lasted this weekend and having a lot of fun. So I'm kind of speechless, but yeah, it's just what a year, what a year. I just did not see this year happening the way it did at the start of the year. I couldn't have imagined it being planning out this so well, but yeah, next year I'm looking so much. It's going to be so much fun again, I'm sure. So yeah, hopefully there'll be an Indy Lights and I can sort out something soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having another year over here in the U.S.
And our final look at the points. This is how the 2013 championship will stand. After 16 of 16 rounds, Matthew Brabham, with the most dominant season in Pro Mazda history, wins the championship by more than 100 points, and a great season as well for Diego Ferreira. He finishes 2nd. Shelby Blackstock and Spencer Pigot tied for 3rd in the championship, but Blackstock gets that 3rd position by way of a tiebreaker. For Jeremy Shaw and Connor Daly, I'm Kevin Lee. Thanks so much for joining us for our season recap for the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires.